All right, all right, all right. Whoops. It would help if I had the camera on. There it is. There we go. All right. Here I am, baby. Signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. All right. Got a few people strolling in. Hello, welcome. Hughes, David, Lynn, and Danny just showed up. What's up, Danny? Good to see you as always. I have been away for a while, you know, lazy. Thank you for the heart, me, Danny. My laziness got the best of me. I have no good reason. I have no excuses. I just have the reality of me. Here I am. Oh, you know what? Forgot to queue up a song. I thought about one earlier and I didn't queue it up on the U-shaped tube. And do 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 do. All right, there, surely did. Oh man, you know the only thing better than rock and roll is bombastic rock and roll, right? So anyway, before we get into all that, just get my fingers to work right. Um, this is Yoda Live, and I'm Yoda because that's how that works. Yoda is spelled Yoddah because film studios are litigious. And even though I am prepared, if Disney ever sued me for co-opting the name Yoda, I am absolutely prepared to thwart them in court because I know something that they might not know. Maybe I'll tell you about it. I've mentioned it before, but anyway, all right. So while we're waiting for people to stroll in, I am going to play a little rock and roll for you. Tevin Mitchell says, "Can we talk?" That is the general idea, Tevin. So yes, but I'm going to play some music first. Here we go.
When there's lightning, you know it always brings me down. 'Cause it's free.
Yes. Ronnie James Dio in the band Dio. Rainbow in the Dark. Let's bring my once and always co-host Danny up so we can get the party started and see where this goes. Come on. What's going on here? Having all sorts of tech issues. Here we go. It's not really tech issues, just focus. Hey, Danny, what's happening? Danny, you there? For whatever
Can you hear
reason,
me?
now I can hear you.
Hello.
I can hear you.
Yeah, you're breaking up though. Your voice.
My voice is breaking up.
I wonder what happened.
Was it breaking up before?
Huh, that's weird.
Let's drop you down and try again. Come back up. Hey, go Vols. Can you hear me okay? Danny didn't come back up on his own, but hopefully he will come up this time. All right, are you there, Danny? Are we having technical issues? All right, Danny's coming back. Hello, Danny, can you hear me now?
Now I can't hear you.
Okay, good. So the gods of technology have smiled down on us.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me.
You're breaking up.
Okay, was I breaking up before when you were
No, that's
before I played
weird.
the music and we were started? Was I breaking up?
No, your voice is breaking up.
I know that before when you first came on
No,
was my
before the
voice breaking
music
up.
you were fine, but since the music ended,
So that might be on your side. Does anybody, there's
yes,
only a couple of us
it
in
was
here.
breaking up.
Yeah, that's probably you.
On my end? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me take my earbuds out. Let me take my earbuds out.
All right. We're always in a battle
Okay.
against. Okay. So can you hear me now? Guess not.
That's just weird. You're still breaking up. And I took my earphones off, my earbuds off.
Okay.
Let me get on my iPad and we'll see what I can do with my iPad with you. I'll be back.
Okay. Okay. So okay. Kitty Talk says that I'm breaking up also. That's interesting. Okay, so let's try something else then. Come on, where are we? Okay, how's it now, Kitty Talk? Still breaking up, or is it good? Ah, there we go. Okay, it was just the mic source. All right, you should hear me now, Danny. I switched mic sources.
Yeah, I hear you now.
I can barely hear you.
Well, let me turn up my volume here and see if that helps. If not, I may have to get my external microphone.
Yeah, I can't make out what you're saying. I hear you talking, but I can't really hear what you're saying.
You can't hear what I'm saying?
And it's a little bit better.
Let me get my other microphone. Hang on a minute. Got all these technical goddamn issues tonight. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this is a new mic, and um, I know I've had this vote. Well, have I used this? No, I don't think I've used this setup before. I did change. I changed something, and I tested it, and it worked when I tested it. But for some reason, going live, it is not working. It's probably an internet thing, but that's okay. I figured out how to fix it, and we're good. That's the only thing that matters. Like a rainbow in the dark, do-do-do-do-do-down. Like a rainbow in the dark, do-do-do-down. Dio, baby, love Dio. He was performing all the way up until 2009. And then,
How about now?
unfortunately,
Can you
left
hear me
us in
okay?
2010. Yeah, I was in the middle of saying something.
I'm sorry.
In the middle of 2010, he succumbed to stomach cancer, but he was one of the greatest rock singers ever. As a matter of fact, of course, his real name was not Dio, but I think it's appropriate since Dio does mean God. And I think that was his sort of tongue-in-cheek way of letting us know that he thought he was godlike. And, you know, I think we could, those of us who like rock music would probably go along with that. So I can hear you better, Danny. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing really good. It's good to have you on your own channel tonight.
Yeah, I mean, so far it's stellar shit.
Well, at least you're here. You know, the good thing is you're there. There you are.
Yeah, for whatever that's worth.
Well, it's worth a lot to me. I
Well,
missed
thank
you
you.
on having your
Appreciate
own
that.
live on. So
Appreciate that. Yeah, I had no agenda beyond playing Rainbow in the Dark. And it all came about because this vocal coach named Beth Roars covered one of his performances and analyzed his singing and, of course, told us what we already knew, which was he was fucking amazing, etc. But anyway, now that you can hear me clearly, how's this mic sound?
actually, it sounds real good. I don't know what was going on, how it was breaking up.
It was just a source issue because when I tested it, you know, there's no way to test live except to go live.
Right.
So, but I tested it, you know, in the computer and recorded myself through TikTok Studio with a specific kind of mic source, and it worked perfectly.
Right.
But then for some reason today it didn't work. But you know, that's technology. But luckily, I fixed it on the fly, and you know, you're not getting the full effects that I have on the mic, but you're getting most of them. But that's okay, you know, as long as you hear me, that's the main thing. Yeah,
That's right.
this is the first name brand mic that I've ever bought. It's a mic that's actually legendary in the broadcasting world. Lots of radio stations use this mic. It's the Electro Voice RE320.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So is it the Chevrolet or the Cadillac of broadcasting, Mike?
Oh no, this would be Cadillac.
Okay.
This would be Cadillac. Yeah, no, you know, I think there's a lot of mics that are overrated. Chief amongst them, the SM7B.
Right.
but this one I think deserves the accolades that it gets.
Oh, cool. Well, you
Yeah.
got an admirer in the chat. Miss Kitty Talk likes your voice.
Well, that's good. I appreciate it. Thank you. Of course, you're not hearing my actual voice. You're hearing the Hollywood version of my voice with all of this technology. What you don't see is hundreds of dollars worth of hardware that shapes my voice to make it sound very pleasant. Northwest Pole Project, what's up? And John says, Dump is the best president ever in the end.
Yeah. Well, was we talking about Donnie Dunk, you dumbass?
Anyway, Kitty asked a question earlier. Do we have a topic? No, actually, I don't. I don't have any topic in mind, but this is Saturday. This is my first day back in 12 days. And normally Saturdays is open. I usually call it diner night. I didn't put up the sign this evening, but you know, I was leaving it completely open to wherever the conversation went. What were you going to say, Danny?
John is still being a dumbass down there.
That's fine.
John, Trump isn't my daddy. He may be your frickin' daddy, but he's not
Yeah,
my
no.
daddy.
Let's explain John's situation, because he's told us everything we need to know about him by saying Dump is your daddy, right? And I'm going to get rid of him because he's, a ridiculous person, obviously. See, he already
Bounced.
no, he already reported the live.
Oh, ain't that nice of him?
Which I knew, I knew he was going to do. As soon as you start insulting these MAGA hats, there's such there's such snowflakes that they themes that some may feel uncomfortable. That's funny. Themes. We have no themes. Harassment and bullying. Yeah. Yeah,
We're
you
not
made fun of
boning.
them.
We just told him we're not his daddy. He's not our daddy. How's that bone?
No, you were calling him names, so that counts as harassment and bullying.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right. I mean, it happens. But for the rest of us here, when an adult man says to me, Dump is your daddy, he's given away his entire personality and his mindset, right? What he's done is displayed and demonstrated that he's a child, because who else would refer to a man as his daddy? And he's saying he's my daddy, but that he's projecting. He's saying that because he feels that Dump is his daddy. Right? Now, I don't feel any man is my daddy, because that's not how adult men roll, And so, a typical childish MAGA hat shows us exactly what's wrong with MAGA hats. Right. And, it is what it is. Yeah, by the way, even though I've been gone for 12 days, the last 2 or 3 times that I was on, what I've seen is that they are my live shows are flagged because any little thing now gets a ding. Like we used to have loud fights where we're cursing at people and all that. Nothing was ever a problem, but now anything that I say and other people like me, it just gets flagged right away and removed from the FYP for 10 minutes or whatever. Sometimes removed from FYP for the whole night, whatever it is, and they don't allow you to appeal it. They just take it down.
Right.
And obviously we have to watch what we say, but I noticed that isn't applied consistently amongst creators. Because I mean, when you stumble into a MAGA hat live, you hear them saying the most outrageous shit, like truly horrible things. I don't mean offensive. I don't mean nasty. I mean horrible. The kind of harm that they're wishing to people, the kind of celebrating they're doing over people's suffering, the way that
Right.
they dismiss the victims of the files. They're saying horrible shit, but because they're maggots, they get away with it.
They get away with it. Yep.
Yeah, Kitty, you don't really have to worry about. I don't think they monitor the chat as much because we've had people come up to our live shows and say DIE Democrats, right, in big bold letters, and I even reported someone because they kept doing it on several different lives, and TikTok said no, we don't see a problem. But if you call someone a name like DUMB, they're like, oh my God, you can't say that to people. As the song goes, strange days indeed.
So my favorite phrase that I made up isn't going to be kosher no more.
Your favorite phrase?
Yeah, dumbass. I mean, fuckistan. I probably get
Well,
slammed for that.
that's not a word. That's not a real word. So
Well, hey, I probably will.
you can say gibberish.
Mhm.
That doesn't trigger the algorithm.
Okay. All right.
Raucus says they don't have much longer to enjoy that crap. Who knows? Who knows? The Third Reich lasted quite a while. So anything's possible. You know, right now, I mean, if you look at the history of the folks from, 1930s and 40s Germany, what was it, 12 or 13 years, something like that, that
Yep.
went on?
Pretty much
So
13.
if you look at all of the circumstances, if you look at the language, and if you look at the behavior, it's so it's virtually identical now.
Right.
It is virtually identical, and anyone that thinks that that doesn't mean anything, I think is just out of their fucking mind.
Yep.
How could you not understand that, like, similar behavior gets similar results? No,
Well, you
I
know
don't know.
the right after World War II, the Cold War lasted 46 years,
Well, yeah, I mean,
where the Iron Curtain fell.
I don't, I personally, I mean, I'm probably splitting hairs, but I don't see that the cold WAR ever ended,
It
because
really didn't, but
if the idea is that, I mean, to me, it's just a phrase that people used because what's changed? How did it end exactly?
yeah, tearing down the wall, they said, but that didn't really do anything. The Berlin Wall,
Yeah, I mean, I get that that was significant for Germans,
right?
certainly, but like, did the spies stop working?
Oh
Did
no,
the
they're worse
espionage
now than
stop?
ever. No,
you
they're
know,
worse now than ever.
yeah. And Kitty Cat says they are actually winning. Hmm.
Who's winning?
I don't know. Not sure. The WAR is turning many maggots to the light. Yeah, I don't believe that, and I don't believe you could quantify that. Um, I know. Look, in any cult situation, there are always going to be people that fall off. They have an awakening or an epiphany, or they get deprogrammed. Whatever it is, they get shaken out of their stupor, and they come back to reality. But that's I think that's a very small percentage. I think the hardcore, that's why his approval rating hasn't plummeted, because if the MAGAs were abandoning him, his approval rating would keep going down and down and down. He'd probably be in the high teens or low 20s by now. But he maintains above 30 because they're not going anywhere. You know,
No.
again, some of them. There's always going to be a drop off, but it's not significant enough to make me think, oh, this thing is turning around. I'm listening to what they're saying, and they are shockingly unintelligent, and they're like children more often than not, and they're
Right.
completely dedicated to their team. Because when you have a cult mentality, all of the sophisticated thought process that an adult would normally put into their life goes away.
Right.
And I don't have to describe it for you. You can all just read one article and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, they don't think like adults. They have the mentality of, you know, teenagers or younger.
Right.
Where, like, my favorite way to illustrate that is if you walk up to a 5-year-old and say, your daddy's an idiot, that 5-year-old is going to get very upset,
Yep.
because you're saying something about someone that they love, could be their first or second favorite person in the world, and they don't have the mental or emotional capacity to process what you've said and respond to it. So they just yell and cry and carry on, which is what we
Right.
accept. I'm sorry, which is what we expect. Well, we actually accept it too from children, right? We expect a 5-year-old to behave that way. But
Right.
now you've got 45 and 55-year-old people behaving that way, you know? Like, imagine if I had a title like I did a few weeks back that says, Dump Sucks Ass,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
And I spelled ass AZZ so that,
Right.
the police of social media wouldn't come after me. And they came on and just were crashing out immediately.
Right.
How can you say that? He's the best ever, blah 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 blah. You suck ass. All the exact thing that you would expect a 5-year-old to say to you.
Right.
My daddy's not an idiot. Your daddy's an idiot. You're an idiot.
Right. Schoolyard fight happens all of a sudden. Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
that's, and when you see that behavior in an adult, it's jarring.
Oh, I know. I have a few
Like
friends out here.
I was listening earlier today. I got up early because UPS gave me the wrong information of when they were coming by with my mic. But earlier I was listening to a religious discussion on TikTok, and listening to this guy say, I have proof that God is real. And like literally, no matter how this guy broke it down, and the host was very intelligent. I don't know if you've ever, like, this is like a very specialized thing in education, but like philosophy classes, I don't know if you've ever taken any philosophy classes or logic classes and things like that. Most of us don't. I never did, but I've read about it subsequently. Like there's this concept called P not P, right? Like you take the letter P, and the letter P cannot equal and not be P at the same time. It's either P or it's not. It can't be P and not P, right? Because that's
Okay.
a logical fallacy.
Right.
Just like you can't be alive and not alive at the same time, right?
What? I can't?
So you have these infantile people coming on very confidently saying, "Oh, I have proof that God exists." Well, this one guy was saying, "Well, can God do bad things?" And the guy said, "Well, no, he's all good." He said, "So you've told me that you think God is all powerful, but if there's something he can't do, that means he's not all powerful, right?"
Right.
Which is just a very low level, simple, logical argument, right? But this guy couldn't understand it. He couldn't understand that he was defeating his own argument,
Right.
you know, because if you if you have shut your mind down, like it's fine to believe something as long as you understand that your beliefs can be wrong sometimes. If you don't understand that you can be wrong sometimes, then there's no talking to you. Let's see. Raucus says Drumpf at 80 is still stuck in elementary schoolyard genre. Yeah, unfortunately, he's like that kid in the Twilight Zone episode, the kid that was terrorizing everybody in the town, because apparently the kid had powers, right? And if the kid said you're bad, like something bad would happen to you, right? And so Dump is like that. You can insult Dump all day long, but at the end of the day, he's the most powerful human being on planet Earth. And that's a dangerous situation. I mean, look at what he's done to the American economy in barely a year, barely over a year. This guy has come in and just trashed the place. Now, he didn't do that accidentally. He did that because he doesn't care about any one of us. He just cares about himself and his and the powerful people that got him elected to begin with.
Right.
Hey, traffic man, thank you for the gifts and all that good stuff. Thanks.
Hey,
And
Trappy.
feel free to come up if you like. I haven't been here in almost 2 weeks. Thank you for the heart me, Brooklyn Bridge. Brooklyn's. Oh, there's traffic man. Why is it? Yeah, that's traffic. What's up, brother?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Another day in paradise.
Hmm. I just found out we're going to Chicago next weekend to visit my brother and sister-in-law and their dog.
You didn't
And
just find that out. You told me about that a couple weeks
well,
ago.
no. What I just found out was apparently there's supposed to be a No Kings protest on Saturday while we're there.
Why is
That
that
was not
funny?
planned. Well, no. I have wanted to attend one, and
Oh,
it just so happens that I might get to scream obscenities at um, people that are fighting against it.
all right. I relish opportunities to scream obscenities, so that's good.
Oh, sorry, I thought Dangerfield was saying something else.
Brooklyn's Bridge says, "LOL." The next species that tries to decipher what the fuck we were saying to each other is going to have a hell of a time at your facial expressions, Yoddah. Let's see. Ruckus, I use Trump now all the time because that was Grandpa Friedrich's real last name. Yeah. Yeah, it was John Oliver was the first one I heard expose the fact that Dump's real last name was Drumpf. That's an ugly sounding name.
Well, he's an ugly person.
Yeah, the whole
Hmm.
family,
Yeah.
the whole history, like his grandfather, his father, him, and his sons were just train wrecks. It's hard to know exactly what's going on with Barron, but from the look of him, he's probably another sociopath. Like
Yep.
I pay very close attention to people's body language, especially how animated their eyes are, and he looks like he's just completely gone. He looks vacant.
I mean, for people that try to say that family values and blah blah blah, and having this whole the nuclear family and stuff. They're trying to push their beliefs on it. I mean, like it, that Barron did not grow up in that.
I'm sorry, he
You
didn't
know what I
grow up
mean?
what?
He didn't grow up in like what they consider the normal family. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, I mean these are
Yeah.
people saying that dump is for the working man while the guy is shitting into golden toilets.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, it's a discussion. I haven't been to a union meeting in a while, just simply because I'm tired of everybody in our union is Republican, which is really confusing. But yeah, they all believe that he's going to fix all this, and we're going to get paid more money.
Yeah.
You just wait;
Well,
it's coming.
it's because, once all the brown people are gone, everything's going to be perfect in America.
Yeah. Uh,
So, oh wow. I didn't know this until Brooklyn Bridge just put this up, but Robert Mueller passed away yesterday.
yeah.
Yes, he did.
Didn't know
86
that.
years old.
Did you
Yeah.
see the president's response to
No,
that?
80 years old.
Nope.
I'm
He,
glad. That's what he said. I'm glad.
yeah, he
Of
literally said,
course.
"I'm glad."
Of
Yeah.
course. Look, let's remember that little Donnie I think he called into Fox and Friends, and he talked about dropping armaments on an area in the Middle East just for fun. So, you know, when those guys get in those airplanes and their mission is to drop armaments in a combat zone, they know that they might not come back. That's
Hmm.
just the reality of combat. And no other leader in world history has ever referred to something that serious as just for fun. That's such a despicable and awful thing to say. I think that phrase is going to be part of his epitaph for the rest of eternity.
Hmm.
I think people, all historians, need to focus on the fact that he said that, because that's a despicable, horrifying sentiment to express about combat. Hello, Brooklyn's Bridge. How are you?
I am great. How are you, Yoda?
You sound like Eeyore. I am great. How are you, Yoda? You are not convincing anybody.
I'm a little tired. I finally went back to the gym today, and when you get older, you can't take a break from the gym because then you start to lose the muscle mass and then pain starts to
Well, that
come.
happens at every age.
Well, it's really happening to me. So I went back today, and when I left, I felt at least 20% better than when I walked in. So I just have to get back into the groove of how I was doing it, which was at least 2 days a week.
What kind of workout do you engage in?
I like the what do they call them? Leg presses, because it helps build my legs up and it helps build hip muscles. And I can't think of the name of the other one when you pull the weights, one with each hand, you pull them in front of you. It helps build up the
Rows.
shoulder muscles.
Those are rows. Those
Yeah.
don't really do anything for your shoulder muscles.
Well, they help me. They help.
Those are mostly for your traps, a little bit of your scapula, but yeah, because those are for your back, but they're all good. And
Yeah.
it's very important for the elderly people. I said the elderly, for elderly people, anyone basically over 50, to work out
Hmm.
their legs. And
Yes.
it's for two reasons. Number one, the only thing that maintains oh my God, bone density is weight training.
Yeah.
That's for starters.
Mhm.
Also, studies have shown that you reduce uh, mortality by 40% when you have strong legs. Because part of, like, okay, the difference between someone being old and someone being old and placed in an old age home is normally what?
Oh, I don't know.
Mobility.
Mobility.
Mm.
When
Yeah.
as soon as someone can't get up off the couch and can't walk to do that, the conversation starts. What are we going to do with dad? Right? Because that's when someone becomes essentially helpless.
Right.
So if you keep your leg strength, then you dramatically cut down on those types of circumstances.
Yeah.
And there's another benefit. It's fun to feel strong.
It is. It
I
is.
celebrated my 50th birthday by squatting 500 pounds, and I still have the video of it. And it was so much fun, and it felt so great. And at that time, I was working out 3 days a week as a power lifter, and I just felt strong all the time, and it was great.
You know the
Well,
7.
What was that? Hello?
Oh, I think it was something coming through on Grandpa.
Oh, okay. So now, Brooklyn, do you work out mostly uh, like high reps with lighter weights, or do you work with heavy weights?
I don't work with heavy weights. I can't work with heavy weights because I had 2 surgeries on one hand, ligament and carpal tunnel. So, but the leg weights are very important to me to build back muscle and help the legs. So, just doing that today made me feel a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been slowly but surely getting back into kettlebell training. Very, very slowly. I love kettlebells, but I don't like doing things.
Join the club.
So Kitty Talk says, I just got old all in the same year. That's interesting. Um, so yeah, um, yeah, I miss my regular workouts. There's something about the gym, especially uh when you grow up an athlete, because I was actively in athletics for the first 35, 37 years of my life. And, I didn't always work out regularly, but when you're used to being an athlete, there's something about walking into a gym and that specific uh, smell and energy that's in a gym. And it's not necessarily a bad smell. Yes, people are sweating. That's true. But there's lots of pheromones in the air, right? Because of the sweat, and there's a certain energy in a gym because people are there to better themselves and to stay healthy and to stay strong and all that other stuff. Some might be there for, just superficial reasons, like they just want to look good, and there's nothing wrong with that, of course. But I felt at home in the gym. I enjoyed being covered in sweat. I enjoyed helping other guys work out because I was very scientific about working out. So I knew a lot of things that the average gym goer didn't know. So I got to help guys out. And, it was always fun watching them do better than they ever had before because they followed my advice. That was cool. So the gym has a lot of different components to it that I enjoy. But lately I been in the house mostly. So no gym for me, even though I've been paying for it I pay $20 a
Mhm.
month. It's like $22 a month for years and years and years, and haven't worked out regularly in probably 7 or 8 years. What'd the Stones say? What a drag it is getting old.
Hmm.
Mm.
But I have to start, not I have to, I'm planning to start changing my inner and outer dialogue about how I talk about my age and how I talk about my health, because I tend to be very negative about it, even though I don't feel that negative about it. But I think that, you know, as a man thinketh, there's a lot of truth to that. So
Mm.
I don't want to put words into my psyche that don't serve me. So even though a lot of it is funny to me, I know that there might be unintended consequences.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
need to change that too.
Yeah, like I do my best not to say I am lazy. I'll say something like I have been lazy up till now. You know, something like that, because those I am statements can be very, very catchy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they can get you caught up in a place that you don't want to be.
Right. Like one of my things is I'll say when I'm at work and someone gives me a compliment and I'll say, "Well, I'm a lot older than you think." And then they'll say, "Well, I'll give you," and they'll say 50 and I'm like, "Oh, you're like 60, 50, 60, you're like 17 years off." So I need to stop saying that.
Yeah, I think there's only one way to respond to a compliment, which is thank you.
Right.
That's all
I
I
know.
ever do.
Yeah.
I you know, I don't want to have an argument to try and compliment somebody.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't argue with them, but it's just that
Well, but you you
um,
you just described that. That's exactly what you did. That's what you just told us you did.
I beg to differ. I just told him I'm a lot older than you think I
Yeah,
am, but
that's an argument. That's basically rejecting the compliment,
mm,
and that's why I believe the best way to respond to a compliment is thank you. Kitty Talk says, "Yeah, let's celebrate our age. My mom turned 90 this week.
oh,
Congratulations
cool.
to your
Happy
mother.
birthday to your mom.
My
Happy
mother
birthday.
made it to 92 in
Oh, wow.
December of 2024, and unfortunately, like she was healthy most of her life. It
Mm-hmm.
was literally like just the last couple years that caught up to her, but she did pretty well for herself for a long time.
Oh, good.
We have we just hired a couple of young guys in their early 20s at my job, and the conversation came up over the fact that I'm an old man now because I'm in my 40s, which, I'm not a spring chicken, but
Well,
but
you're old to them. You're old to
correct,
them.
right.
Oh,
And
It's all perspective. It's all comparative. You know,
you're a kid.
I went. I would never call a 40-year-old a kid, but that's you know that's my own thing. Um, but uh, m- I remember the way my career in sales went was when I first got into sales for a few years, I was the youngest guy in the office. And when I left the corporate world and got out of sales, I was the oldest guy in the office.
Mhm.
So that's just how it goes.
Well, I was telling them that I said I bet I could still beat you in a race. And they were like, "Oh, okay, Grandpa. Yeah, I bet, you know." And I was like, "All right, here, let's figure out 40 yards and we'll race it. I'll race
Oh
you."
my God, you actually did this?
Yeah, absolutely. And so I took off and I beat both of them, and they were just absolutely flabbergasted. Now, I didn't show, they don't know about the part where I sat in my office for like 10 minutes going, "Oh my God, what the hell did I just do?" My body hurts. But, hey, I guess us old people still have it in us, so you got to watch out.
Mhm.
Well, you know what Billy Joel said. You pay for your satisfaction somewhere along the line.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
gonna have to start accepting compliments and just let it be. Not even tell people nothing. Just say thank you.
I speaking of
Hey,
salesmen,
Penelope, what's up?
oh,
Sorry, go ahead.
sorry, no, I met my first super pushy salesman in our industry, and he has to be one of the worst salesmen ever.
Yeah, I mean, if usually someone's pushy in sales if they're desperate,
Yeah.
they're either under their quota, or they don't know where rent is coming from. And I remember that old commercial. There was a deodorant commercial way back, I think in the 70s or 80s, where the tagline was "Never let them see you sweat." And
Hmm.
when I trained salespeople, I used to tell them that, like, people sense desperation, and pushiness feels like desperation,
Yeah.
or it feels like dishonesty.
And so most of the salesmen that I deal with um, understand that, like, after a certain point in time in the day, I'm not at work. They don't bother me unless it's like an emergency or something like that, which, that has happened in the past. But so recently, um, the local supplier for light poles is no longer going to make the type of light pole that we have. So we've been desperately looking around for another supplier. And I told this guy, hey, we're pretty set on this other company because what they have, like, I mean, literally is like a carbon copy of what we already have. So we're going to go with them. It's gotten to the point where he's been calling me at like 8 o'clock at night on my
Yeah, well,
work
that's
phone
that's
saying,
crazy.
yeah,
But you left the door open by using the word pretty. You said pretty set. That's not firm language, and you
okay.
left the door open.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong. um, and it, it's it's one of those things where it's like he wasn't. I remember he came down with a sales pitch. He brought some products, show us some stuff, and he wasn't using words like us and we and you know what I mean. It was just it was all him, what he thinks should be the best option for us, what and it's like, okay, I don't I it the whole thing just kind of felt off from what I'm used
Well,
to. I
I
don't know.
mean, just on several fronts, what you're describing is just a guy that's not good at sales.
That's kind of what I felt
Yeah, I mean,
after dealing with people in
he's
sales for a long
pushy.
time.
He's leading the narrative rather than guiding you through the narrative.
Correct.
When you sell something to someone, you're not you're not really like, the selling sounds like a verb where you are doing something to someone else. But the smart way to sell is to just extract information and let that information lead the potential buyer down a path that leads to your product and service.
Right. Right.
So you ask a lot of questions, and then at a certain point, when you've gathered enough information and that your product or service will improve this person's life, and I don't mean their whole life, but I mean their working
Yeah.
life or their business
Yeah.
life or whatever, then that's when you start putting them in the experience of using that product or service.
Right.
Like, hey, if you could do this, what would that mean to you?
Right.
If you had this opportunity, if you had that, if you and then they start envisioning that stuff, and then you just keep reminding them that this is what your product and service does, then it becomes their idea to
Right.
buy.
Right.
And it takes a lot of skill to understand how to do that. And a lot of people get into sales for a lot of different reasons. Sometimes it's they can't get any other type of job,
Sure.
which was that was kind of my reason for getting into sales, is that I was working in fast food, and that's you know you can develop a career in fast food, but like, who the fuck wants to? you know
Right. No, I
and I
get,
had
yeah.
the opportunity to develop a career in fast food. Like, I could have gotten to regional manager type status,
Sure.
but I just had no desire to do it. But so it was like, all right, I'm looking around, I'm not qualified for anything. I'm 20 years old, I'm not qualified for anything, and I know that very soon I'm going to have to start paying for a family. So, like, I'm looking through the paper, and this is 1984, and I see, oh,
Mhm.
$500 a week, no experience necessary. And I was like, A, I want $500 a week. B, I have
Right.
no experience. This is
That's
perfect,
yeah.
right?
Right. Right.
So that's how I got into sales.
By
And
the way, 1984 is a great year.
and as I like literally every time the year 1984 comes up, you say the same thing. You're a
Yeah.
sociopath.
Uh-huh.
Anyway,
That's right. I
so
will do that as long as I'm alive.
that's good for you. And I wasn't good at all. And that's probably why I stayed in it, is because I wanted to be good at it, and probably more needed to be good at it. I really needed to be good at sales. I needed to feed my family.
Hmm.
And so that driving force made me work at it all the time. I'd be home rewriting scripts and practicing, and just trying to come up with scenarios in my mind. If they do this, then I do this. If they do this, I do this.
Yeah.
And it's like someone shadow boxing, or whatever it is, practicing your craft to get better at it. And I read books and I went to seminars, and eventually it all paid off.
Hmm.
But what you start to realize as you're getting better at sales is who's not good at it.
Yes.
It becomes very
Yeah.
easy to spot those people.
Yeah. I worked behind a counter in an auto parts store. What was supposed to be like maybe like a summer or two stint through college ended up being a 15-year career as a secondary job because life is expensive, and I really wanted to buy a house and get out of my parents' place and stuff like that. So I stuck at the job selling auto parts, and it was retail sales, And one of the
Which
big
is
things,
a circle of hell as far as I'm concerned.
oh,
I
well,
fucking hated retail.
yes. And one of the things that I would try to tell the newer people is you have to understand the people that are coming in here to buy auto parts are already mad. They are already in a mindset that, damn it, my car is broken and I need parts to fix it.
Right.
So what you need to do is work them through how to fix it. Don't just sit here and be like, oh, well, we have batteries over there, or like try to be, as friendly as you can. And remember, they're not mad at you. They're mad at the fact that their 1986 Dodge Omni piece of garbage broke down for the 58th time this week. And, you know, so take that anger that they're putting to you and just kind of push it aside and go from there. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. You
you
also
know,
have to remember that sales works best when there's harmony between both parties. And I know
hmm
that sounds like a very fucking woo woo thing to say, but I did my best in my career when I told the most personal stories about my life.
hmm
Like when I was selling to women, I was wearing my wedding ring, and I would always tell them the story of either how I proposed to my wife or our honeymoon, right?
perfect.
Because
Yes.
women like to hear that shit.
hmm
And that humanized me. And I was more, for a few minutes, we were just people talking rather than a dude trying to sell them something.
Right.
And then once I got doing that, then I'd start asking questions about what they needed and how I could help them out and things like that. But people forget the human side of sales. Like the
Right.
best salespeople, when they have an appointment, they're going to spend that first 20 or 30 minutes just talking to you about everything but the sale.
hmm
Oh, I see you have a Giants poster on your wall. What's up with them this year? Blah, blah, blah. Shit
Right.
like that.
Right.
People love that shit. If you see a guy in a photo with his family, ask him about his fucking family.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he, especially if he has the photo turned outward,
Yes.
right? If
Yeah.
he has the photo turned inward, he's trying to remind himself not to cheat on his wife, right?
Yeah. Basically, yes. Correct.
But if he has the photo turned outward, he's proud of his family,
Right.
and so there's these things that, you become like Kaiser Soze.
Mm-hmm.
You walk into someone's office and within 5 seconds, take in everything that you see
Mm-hmm.
because there's going to be a bunch of hints at his personality. The rest are on him. Is he wearing jewelry? Is he not? Is he relaxed? Is he tense? There's all these things that your senses become attuned to because you want to spend the first 20 or 30 minutes making him feel good about the fact that he's talking to you, he or
Yeah.
she, right?
Yeah.
You want them to feel good about just, I'm having a good time with this person. That's how I was in networking too. I used to hate the people that would just like, and when you're networking, you see the same people over and over again. There was this one
Sure.
guy I saw this guy once or twice a week for a few years and never knew anything about him because every time I saw him, he would just be like, oh, if you need whatever the fuck it was that he sold, here's my card.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would walk away. And every time he did that, I'd throw his card away.
Yeah.
And when I would go into, because that's a guy that doesn't understand what networking is.
Right.
If you're trying to sell the people in the networking event, you don't understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
got to make them feel good about you so that they can recommend you to people. Now you
Right.
have a bunch of unpaid salespeople getting business for you.
Well, and it's actually it's kind of funny you mention that because at one point our local auto club would cut at the time there was only our store in the area, and there was a Napa, but they closed early and blah blah blah. And I usually work nights and weekends, kind of a thing. And it had gotten to a point where um, the people in the car club would come to our store and specifically ask for me. And if I wasn't there, they would leave. And it's because uh, on the human level, I had a connection with these people. I'm just as much of a gearhead as they are, and we that was the connection we were able to make
Right.
on that. After I left, there were a couple of my friends that still worked there at the time had mentioned to me that after so long, these people would come in and be like, "Hey, is George here?" And no, actually, he doesn't work here anymore. And then they just stopped coming to the store.
But that's what you want. You want to be um essentially the mascot for that store.
Hmm.
You know, when people think of what you do, you want them to think of you.
Hmm.
Like I was the credit card guy because I worked with businesses on their credit card processing. And so, I'd have people like 2 years after meeting me be like, "Oh yeah, I got a referral for you. This guy needs credit cards, and you're the credit card guy, so here's his number."
Hmm.
That's ideal. That's the
Right.
ideal situation, and you can't get that by acting like an asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't get that by being pushy, by being insensitive, by being selfish, and I almost never talked about business when I was networking. Almost
Right.
never. I'd go in current events or I heard a funny joke or whatever the fuck it was. Just, hey, what's going on? How you doing today? Da, da, da.
Hmm.
Like like my worst, the worst thing that someone could do to me is walk up and be like, "Hi, how you doing? What do you do?" Oh, shut up. Get away from me.
Right.
And I know that's
Right.
not inherently a wrong thing to do. I just think it's not good strategy.
Yeah.
Again, you're forgetting that we're all human beings. Let's try to relate on that level because it's an old saying, it's corny, but I think it's 100% true. People buy from people they like.
Hmm.
And in networking, you're not selling them your product or service, you're selling them you.
Right. Right.
Because guess what happens when people like you? They automatically think you're good at your job.
Hmm. And listen, a testament to that is two of the salesmen that I deal with mostly is because, you know, to my face, they're nice people. They're good people. It's the salesmen that don't have those attributes. I mean, I just, oh, okay, yeah, yeah, we'll look into that, and then, you know,
Yeah. It all comes down to relationships.
hmm
You know, one thing that I was taught, and I was very lucky. I learned this at 24 years old. I was taught that everything in life is relationships. Everything.
hmm
Like one of the things that I've noticed for a long time now is that directors will work with the same group of actors over and over and over again.
yeah,
Or you'll see you'll see actors in a show, and then years later you'll see one of the actors, and invariably there will be at least one other actor that he worked with on that show that shows up on his new show,
yep,
right? And it's that 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon kind of thing.
sure,
Like
sure,
I've been rewatching, and I'm almost done, but NYPD Blue.
hmm
I've seen characters from probably 7 big television shows going all through that. And there were some actors that they brought back for like 2 or 3 years in a row, just playing different characters because they liked them so much. And
absolutely,
that's not about acting.
no,
Because, when you're on when you go through the vetting process of casting agents for a major television show, all of the actors are pretty much at the same level of skill.
hmm
So if you see 5 actors for a part, and one of them is just the coolest, chillest dude, always cracking jokes, always making you feel good, you're going to pick that guy.
yeah, yeah,
That's something that Patrice O'Neill never was good at. Like, people hated him.
yep,
Funny as fuck, but they hated
absolutely, but
working with him. He didn't want to do that thing.
yeah,
He just wanted the work. He didn't want to do any of the like, oh, I got to connect with all these people and shit. I mean,
right,
he had his close, circle, but
sure,
when he was on a set, he was an asshole. And
yeah,
the only redeeming quality to that is that he knew that, you know, but he
right,
knew that his career would not advance because he was an asshole. People found him unpleasant to work with.
right,
Think about it. You're doing most of these TV shows 12 to 14-hour days. You don't want to spend that with people that are a pain in the ass.
no,
You want a fun, easy time of it.
right,
You know, same
and
everywhere else in life and everything.
I,
Whether you spend 30 seconds on an elevator with someone or 30 years sleeping next to them, it's all relationships.
yeah.
They're just different levels.
And I'll tell you, one of the guys that I work with, when the job opened up and he applied for it, like I used to work with him over in the auto mechanics shop, and I went to my boss and I was like, I don't give a crap who else bids on this job. You need to hire this person because I know that not only is he going to be a good worker, not only is he going to be somebody who is constantly wanting to learn, he's also a good person to be around. Like he's going to make the office better. Like you know what I mean? And I mean absolutely. And everybody, as a matter of fact, we had a younger guy that worked for us for about a year or so, and he quit because he was promised by a private contractor that he was going to get all these things. You know how all that goes. Um, and like he called me. I was off on my gallbladder surgery recovery, and he called me and he was crying because he was so upset that he had to tell me, "Hey, listen, I'm going to leave because I'm going to go work for this private company that's offering me all this extra stuff." And I was like, you got to do you. I mean, whatever. I'm not going to tell you no. And
Oh,
as
not that you
circumstances,
could, but
well, right, well, right. But as the cards fell, um, the opportunity came where he could get hired back, and like the minute that opportunity arose, I was like, dude, you need to come back. Like I know, like working in residential electric sucks for you. You know, y- your retirement is still here. All the time you worked, blah blah blah, and he's another one I'm extremely happy to have back because not only he's like the older guy that I was just talking about. He's
mhm.
a younger guy. He's willing to learn. He's excited to come to work. He always comes to work. You know what I mean? But outside of that, we all have a relationship with each other. Like we'll go over to the one guy's house every once in a while for campfire nights and stuff. The kids run around, blah blah blah, and it's nice. Um, and from some other places that I've worked in the past, I could never imagine having that kind of relationship with my employees because, like, they all sucked. To
Well,
put it lightly.
hey, listen, the let's see. I had a really big job in 2000, and in that office were 25 salespeople, and I only speak to one of them now.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
that's just the way it works. And
yeah,
sometimes you leave a job and you never hear from those people ever again in life.
yeah, yeah. No, you're
And
absolutely right.
sometimes you leave a job and you have a friend for life.
Yep.
It's all
As,
relationships.
as a matter of fact, the parts company I used to work for led to me meeting my best friend ever.
Yeah.
I mean, like, like I literally have his car sitting in my well, I refer to it as his car. I bought it from him, but it's his car sitting in my driveway. you
Yeah.
know,
That guy was just describing. I performed his second wedding.
nice. And listen, I'll be honest. If I had the credentials to do so, I would have done the same thing.
It's easy to get them. It takes you 5 minutes on the internet.
Yeah, no. I don't know if my Greek Orthodox uh, community would appreciate that, but yeah.
Stop being a punk. No, I never had aspirations to make money doing it. In fact, I performed 3 weddings and only got paid once.
Hmm.
And the second one was a referral. The one I got paid for was a referral. Um, but it was a lot of fun to do,
Hmm.
But I only like the first. I did it originally just as a goof, because I didn't. There was no real reason for me to become ordained.
Hmm.
A buddy of mine was having a ceremony after he had already gotten married in Vegas, but
Okay.
because their families weren't there, they were like, "Yeah, we just want to do something for the family, so we're gonna have a wedding ceremony." would you like to come and lead it? And I was like honored to do so. But
Sure.
then I thought, oh, it would be fun to be ordained to do this, even though there was nothing legal. We didn't, I didn't sign anything for them. Um, but then my friends found out that I did this, and then someone needed a non-denominational clergy to get married, and they
Hmm.
referred me, and I actually got paid for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, when I got married the first time to Rosemary, we got married in the Catholic Church, and this young Father Urban's the one that married us. And when I divorced Rosemary and moved back to Colorado, and I hadn't lived in Colorado for over at that point over 24, 25 years. And I go and I find out Father Urban's not a priest anymore. So I called him up at home and I said, "Hey, John," I says, "since you're not a priest anymore and my wife and I divorced, you going to give me a refund?" So I gave him some, and he just laughed. He says, "No, Danny, no refund." You know, so
No
I thought
souls
that was
saved
funny.
after 5.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
hey, who knows? I gave him $200. I figured at least I ought to get $100 back. Yeah.
Yeah, there's people um that they have a business just running around performing weddings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
what you
knew a
do in
guy,
Vegas.
he spent money on Google Ads, and he made about $250,000 a year performing weddings.
Wow.
That's amazing.
And he did he did serious ones, he did goofy ones, but apparently there's a big demand for non-denominational clergy. Some people won't, because they're divorced or they're different religions or whatever the fuck it is. Maybe they're atheists, whatever it is, but they want to get married, and there seems to be no shortage of people who need that.
Yeah, I got married at home the last time. Me and Carol got married. Well, we showed you the pictures on the wall, and it was a non-denominational guy came to the house there, and then I wrote him a check for I think it was $200 or 150, whatever
Hmm.
it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, he signed a license and did his thing, and that was it. And we had it filed after that. So
Yep. 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 That was the second one I did. It was all legal and everything, and
yeah,
not only did I get paid, but I got to get some free food at
yeah, you get food
at the
too.
Yeah,
So
there you
party.
there
go.
you
So
go. Yeah, this dude got food and everything. He even got a
yeah,
couple of drinks, so he was good to go.
yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, I suppose that's something that you could do, but I don't know. It seems like I think that would get boring to me, because it's like you sit down and you work out. You have a template for the structure of the wedding. We've all been to
Hmm.
weddings. We know how they go. And then it's just a question of like, oh, which vows are you going to do? Are you going to do your own? Are you going to do standard vows? But it's all like there's no challenge to stuff like that.
no. Well, maybe
I'm
you
not
should
good
have
with
been a wedding
repetitive
singer.
tasks. My whole life, I've never been good with repetitive tasks. Like if I had to do a play 8 times a week, I would probably fuck up 6 of the 8. Like I don't know how
Maybe
people remember the dialogue all the time. Like, how about a musician that's got to play the same songs for 30 fucking years?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
That, honestly, that was part of the reason why I left my automotive repair job and went over to traffic, because basically the automotive stuff was just repetitive. Like most of what our work was just preventative maintenance. So
yep,
brakes, tires, oil
no
changes,
changes.
belts,
Yep,
tune-ups when they needed it, blah blah blah.
yep.
And then
Pushing
here and
out.
there, yeah, here and there you were peppered with like, oh, the car's doing something weird, like you put the key in the ignition and all the windows go down. Oh boy, I get excited because ooh, this is different. But in the traffic signal industry, we do have that. We still have our preventative maintenance that we do every year. However, most of the issues that we have out in the field aren't something that's repetitive. Like, I mean, one day you'll have a terminal strip that goes bad in one of the signal heads, and then the next day you'll have a communications issue inside the cabinet, and it's it's exhilarating. It's fun. Or I that video that I just posted here on this app yesterday, taking down those the old signal poles at one of our intersections
Mm.
that was erected in the 1950s. Like it's it's a job where every day you go in, something's different, and that's what I really want out of a career.
That's how I felt about sales. Obviously, the product or service is what it is, but
Sure.
it was always the challenge of getting through the defenses of the person that you're sitting across from.
Hmm.
You know, that kept it interesting.
And everybody's different.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know.
there's a narrow band of personality types. The skill is in listening to the different ways that people try to lie to you.
Right.
You know, because that's it's, again, another old saying: buyers are liars, right?
Hmm.
And they're not liars because they're bad people. They're liars because they're afraid, right?
Right.
They don't want to come out on the wrong end of the negotiation. They don't want to buy something they don't need. All that stuff. Some of them know they have a weakness for buying shit. Like that's like me with microphones. This is my weakness. I announced, I don't know, a couple months back that I thought I was done buying microphones, and I bought two since then. you know,
Right.
and do I like this mic? Yes. Is it an excellent mic? Yes. Um, but did I need this mic? Absolutely not.
Right. Well, I mean, our our sign shop was auctioning off a vinyl cutter that I have used in the past when I was there for a quick stint of my employment with the city. And um, I ended up picking it up for $200. And my wife was like, "What are you going to do with that?" And I was like, "Make signs." And she kind of looked confused. She was like, "Okay, why?" And I was like, "Because I enjoy making signs." Like that's just it sounds dumb, but I don't know. I just enjoy making traffic signs. What do you want? So maybe we could have a supplemental income, right?
Well, is that really is like does the income thing really come into it, or is that just something you told her to shut her up?
50-50.
See, because I think this is a thing that I'm guessing it's everywhere, but I think probably it's more prevalent in America, where anything you do has to make money. Why?
Sure,
Why
right.
can't you just do shit because you like doing it?
Well, and that's the thing so like my parents, when I told them that I had purchased this equipment, and then it ended up coming with a bunch of rolls of vinyl. I got red, gold, black, green, brown, like everything, blue, everything that's MUTCD colors, all that stuff. Like my dad was like, "Well, are you going to sell signs?" And I was like, "I mean, if I can make a buck or two, great, but." I just like making signs. Like the first two jobs that I already have lined up is I'm going to make new retro reflective address placards for my house, and then the next thing is my friend that I've met through the automotive company. I'm going to make him a street name sign for his garage. Like that's and if I can make some signs and maybe sell in the TikTok shop or whatever that I haven't even looked into that to see what that entails. if it happens, great. I can sell stuff. But if not, oh well. I'm not going to be hurt over the fact that I have sign making equipment at the house and I can do whatever I want with whatever I want. It just I find enjoyment in it. It's the same thing with with cars. Like I find enjoyment in it.
There you go. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just looking in one folder, which is recent stuff. I have over 500 pieces of artwork that I've created. I have, let's see, I mean, for every video I've done, at least several hundred of them I've made thumbnails for. Um, shit. I mean, I've probably created in the last 6 years. As a matter of fact, yesterday was exactly 5 years to the day that I launched my podcast in
Hmm.
2021. And, so I was making artwork all the time, and never made a dime off of any of my artwork.
Sure.
And I didn't, I didn't have to learn it. It wasn't something I had to do. I just learned how to do it. I taught myself how to do it. And I remember a couple of people had seen something. They're like, "Oh, you should do," and I'm like, "Why?
Yeah.
Why do I have to make money at this?" And it's not that I
Right.
think I'm good at it. I got good enough to please myself for what I wanted for my shit. Like, why do I then have to? Oh, well, I gotta go make money at this thing. Such a weird fucking reaction to everything. Everything has got to have profit behind it. I think that's why Americans are so fucking miserable. Uh-oh, traffic man's teacupping.
Yeah, he's looking for a picture to show you or something, I'm sure.
Or his wife is like, "Why are you still on the phone, you asshole?"
Yeah.
So, Danny, did you ever develop any hobbies that people pestered you to make money on?
No. No.
Not even like the radio stuff?
No. Not really. I I did work in a I did work in a CB shop for about 3 years. Helping customers selling radios and repairing the microphones and doing stuff like that. But I just that became because that was my hobby. And when you start working that was your hobby, then you lose the thrill. Like after being in a CB shop all day, last thing I wanted to do was get home and turn on my base station and talk to people, you know,
Mm.
on the radio. So uh, I I'm glad I did it. I learned a lot there from Matt on about stuff, but I'm and I met a lot of nice people, and I'm still friends with today. So it was worth that part of it. But other than that, no, never did. I sold a few radios of my own, made some money on it, because I bought I fixed them myself and I resold them. But other than that, no, not really.
Mark Twain described something similar. He talked about how, like, when he was a child, he was fascinated when he would look, you know, in a river or, you know, whatever it was, body of water, and he would see bubbles coming up, and he had no idea what those bubbles were. So he found that fascinating. And then later on, he learned that that was just the nitrogen or something escaping from the vegetation. And he
Right,
said once he learned what it was not fascinating anymore.
right. The only other thing I did, I really liked restoring old cars, and I was good at detailing cars. And I did do that when I was still in high school. I would pick up a detail job and do it. Uh, but other than that, it I did for my dad for free because I've living at home there. But he always, even when I came back to visit my father, every time there's two things I had to do. I had to shine all of his cowboy boots. Bring me, made sure I brought my shoe shine kit, and then I had to clean his car out for him. So once a year, every time I go back and visit my folks, I knew that I had to bring my shoe shine kit, and I was going to be cleaning his Cadillac. That was, you know, make it look pretty again for him because but they didn't drive as much. So I mean, the detail work wasn't too bad on, except for it sat out in the wintertime all the time, in the hot summer. So it got dirty that way. So
Gotcha. Oh, traffic man is back.
Well, yeah, I tried to find the picture I was looking for, but unfortunately, I couldn't find it in my camera roll.
yep,
Um,
Oh,
I told
oh,
you
we
that's
missed
what he was
out.
looking
God
for.
damn it.
yeah.
Frickin'
Well,
picture.
so I was looking. I I was inspired by one of my old coworkers. He had called my Camaro the orange peel, right? Because it's an orange Z28, but also it does burnouts like peel outs and stuff like that, right? And so I was inspired, and I created a um, image of like an angry orange with tires doing a burnout, right? And so what I I made this, and I went to my one of my local sign shops, and I was like, look, I just need this made. It's a decal. Excuse me. It's a decal that I want to put on my car, and like I'm going to call it the orange peel, blah blah blah. And the sign shop denied me because they said there's no way in hell you designed that yourself. That has to be something from the 1960s. And no, it's not. That's not something that any automotive manufacturer has ever done. However, I took that as a compliment because I was like, "Oh shit, these guys think I'm trying to rip off some artist," and I was like,
Right.
"Damn, am I in the wrong am I in the wrong industry? Like, should I do
See?
this for a
There
living?"
you go. See? There you go. This is something I made. I think I did this yesterday for no particular reason. I just felt like it.
Mhm.
That was
Nice.
it. You know, no reason for it.
Cool.
I just had a thought, and I was like, oh, I don't really have any kind of voiceover promo, which makes sense since I'm not pursuing voiceover. But I
Right.
do
There you
lots of
go.
voiceover stuff.
Hmm.
You know, I read Shakespeare. I narrate videos, but do I look for work during it? Nope,
No,
because then it
but do you
wouldn't be
enjoy
fun
doing it?
anymore.
Right.
Like I think quite honestly, it would probably be cool to make money just for talking,
Hmm.
but that's never the extent of it. There's the auditioning, there's the sitting down and reading other people's work and trying to make that happen the way they want it to, and it's not like once you find out you're good at something that means, oh, it's just going to be a breeze to do this for a living.
Right.
Sometimes it stinks.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, folks, I think I've had enough. I got up early today, so I'm fucking tired. But I'm glad that we had a chance to connect and tell some stories as always. And hopefully, I will summon the strength to get back to this regularly. I don't even know if it makes sense to anymore. Quite honestly, I I don't know if I've hit a dead end when it comes to social media shit, but I guess there's only one way to find out.
That's
Well, it's good
true.
seeing you.
Thank
Yep.
you.
That's what I said earlier. It was good to see
Yep.
him back in the saddle.
Hmm.
Back where a friend is a friend. All
That's
right,
right.
folks, that's it for me. Peace, love, and granola. Talk to you soon.
All right. Good night, everybody.